I told you I was going to make a video over striking techniques and that. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. Just do an overview of different strikes that we would use in Kuo Shu Aiki-jitsu. Because remember, this is not just doing reverse punches or, any of the other hand strikes like chopping or something like that that you see in the traditional. We're still going to use like a jab, a cross, a hook, an overhead, an uppercut, excuse me, as well as different angles of reverse punch, and lots of other striking, right? Sky's the limit with that. You got to be creative, and that's what our system is all about. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is a reverse punch. We'll go ahead and knock that out of the way here. Importance of that, getting your body mechanics, especially for beginner students that they don't really know how to hit things. Okay, we're not born knowing how to hit things effectively as much as a lot of grown men might think that they do. Yeah, it requires training and actually hitting things. But you have to train the attributes and train the body mechanics. So that's part of what a reverse punch is. Now, with the reverse punch, just like any straight punch, the elbow is not going to come out here at any time. Okay, it's going to be straight and down the whole time. There's going to be a full rotation. It needs to be there before you hit the target. That's all I'll say about that. So as you're here, when you do your reverse punch, as your elbow passes, that's a good time to be making that full spin. Now when you punch, make sure that even if you're not hitting something, be in the mindset of hitting something. Tighten that fist, okay? You're not going to be using boxing gloves in Kuo Shu Aiki-jitsu. So doing this, it's not going to happen. Bare knuckle, it's not just for your protection. Again, this comes down to you need to practice hitting things. It's not going to be just your protection of your hand while you keep a tight fist. The tighter that fist is, the more power you're going to be able to deliver into your opponent. Because if your fist is loose, regardless of how hard you hit, a lot of that's going to go back in like a shock absorber. Okay, so we need to make a tight fist. Striking with the first two knuckles. We always want to try to strike with the first two knuckles, not just to avoid getting that boxer's break on these last two, but that's where the power alignment is with the big bones in your arm. Now, when you're doing the reverse punch and we practicing it like this, again, you want to bring your shoulders back and chamber that as you come forward, okay? And make sure that everything is rotated out. Your first two knuckles are the tight, extended part right here. And we have our jab, which is your lead punch generally. We have a cross, we have a hook, you know, both lead hand and rear hand. But you have your tight hook, your wide hook. You have your overhand, your uppercuts, again from rear hand. You don't have rear hand, overhand, hopefully, but your uppercuts you do. Okay, so we already know, we talked about this in Kuo Shu Aiki-jitsu, we do come up on the ball of our feet, keep our knees bent, and we're not super wide out here. Okay, so we already have that kind of boxer stance when we're doing something. Hands need to be up. Especially when we're doing sparring, we're doing self-defense, any of that stuff, the hands need to be up. If you're not in a situation where you can get your hands up and the guy sucker punches you, well, you know what? You've probably made so many mistakes by that point that, you know, you're going to have to eat it. Situations in real world where you're not in an environment that you're expecting to get into a fight, but you might start to kind of get the hint that somebody's interested in coming at you. What the Dracula is, and again, this is a position I learned even back, decades ago, is if you're kind of sketchy about what's going on, or maybe somebody's just kind of giving you a bad vibe, standing like this, where one foot is further behind, and you've just got your hand up here, this is not threatening, okay? But you have a good coverage of things like this, and you're not stood like this, where if somebody rushes you, you're going to be stumbling back here on the defense. That's no good. Now, the first one that I really like, again, is the Dracula. And what that is you're closing that gap. You see something coming, and you're going to bring your hand up here, so it's covering all of your soft parts of your face, you know, all the things that can collapse when they get hit. It's covering that. We're not worried about your forehead, okay? If you're worried about your forehead, get a helmet, okay? Right here, and then your other hand, this is set on your shoulder, mind you, here. Your other hand is covering your ribs. You're closing the gap, so you're gonna kind of lunge, but I'm not lunging past my knee. I'm not putting my weight to where if I miss the person, I go barreling over on the ground, and then I'm in a whole nother circumstance, okay? So from here, I'm just coming in here, and I've got that elbow right in front for anything. Again, what you're doing is trying to close the gap. Then you can start going to work, okay? Once you get in there, bam, you want to throw a knife hand, whatever, or maybe you can get a hold of the guy, push him off to the side, maybe there's somewhere else, or maybe there's an exit over there, and you got a few guys over here, you know he's got some buddies. You need to be getting him out of there and get the hell out of there, okay? I don't care what techniques you got, you don't want to be trying to fight 3 or 4 guys. Now, the second one is where you would cover with your elbow like this. You're covering your side of your head and your ear. Hoping this gets here. And then this hand is bracing right here. Okay, now there's a lot of variations of this. The reason that my hand is here, I'm not worried about this side right now, is because this hand it's loose. I can protect that side right now. What I'm wanting is when I lunge, I want to bury this right into that guy's chest, okay? So when they're coming in and bam, I want to drop that right in the chest, and I want it braced behind both, because I want to get that jolt again so that I can get there and work. Once I've closed the gap, then, you know, whatever you got to do, you go to work. The lead hand, it's just a jab, okay? We use a jab, you know, it's just a lead punch. When you punch, elbow is down, okay? We don't come out here, do this. So you want the elbow down, and you want your body behind it. Your shoulder is also protecting your jaw. Now when you punch, don't do this, okay? I see this a lot. Right? Don't do that. Keep your head down. Keep your eyes forward. Keep your head down. All right. So from here, we've got our jab, and we've got our cross, which is like our reverse punch. That's our power hit usually. But again, in Kuo Shu Aiki-jitsu, this is not going to be the power hit. Okay. This is going to be a strike that leads into something else until we don't need to do something else anymore. You've got your jab. You've got your cross. Right. You've got your hooks. You've got your tight hook, which is, you're just turning it, rotating sideways. Now there's a couple ways to do this. Some guys like here. Now if you notice, I don't like this. The reason being is because the closest thing to my target are my last 2 knuckles, okay? I don't like breaking those. It sucks, okay? So I don't want to hit like that. I turn mine vertical. Does it feel a little bit different? It takes a while to get used to, yes. But I like the chances of hitting that a little bit tighter. But with the hook, what you're turning this up horizontal, and you're rotating, I hope you can see that, on your lead foot, up on the ball, and you rotate. Now that's it. That's it. Okay? Remember I talked about framework? That's it. So here, boom, right there. That quick. No problem. Okay? Now it's a tight hook. A wide hook, it's just extending out there a little more. So it's still, you still got that body mechanics, but it's coming out and then coming back in. Boom. Okay, this one you can do with the rear hand. Now, with an uppercut, again, we're staying within our framework. But from here, I'm going to dip down a little bit with my knees, with my hips. I'll drop it a little bit, but I'm coming through and rotating, and I'm doing an uppercut. Boom, right there. Again, once I hit through that jaw, it's over. Okay, the job is done for that particular punch. Leave it alone. Come back. Okay. Same thing. Boom, I could come up here, but again, I want to use my body. I want to come down and then dip up. If I'm ducking something short, I might come in here. Boom, you know, whatever. But you need to make sure you stay within that framework. Let the tool do its job, and then get rid of it. Okay, just put it back in the box. All right. Now you also have an overhead. Now with the overhead, usually you want to be zoned out. We do that a lot. We step out a lot. Okay, you can come through. Boom. Boom. You can swing it, boom, okay? But it's going over top of that protective arm and just diving through there. A lot of guys like to kind of turn the hand a little more. Again, you'll find out if you like it by hitting things, okay? You need to make sure you hit things and know, yeah, do I want to do that? Or, you know, because you're bare knuckle. Again, this is not gloves. You'll know right away. Now, The other one you can do is an overhead and uppercut, or uppercut overhead, either way. Okay? Where you come in and you do an uppercut and then overhead, right? You do the same thing, uppercut overhead, right? There's a lot of combinations you can mix with them. With the reverse punch, again, when I showed you that drill where you're here, boom, 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 we have what we call, one name for it's a brown punch. If you study the system, you know what that is. Okay, and what that, we're going to come down at a downward angle. I'm stepping through and then bam. Okay, so again, I've got my footwork out there and I'm going to come down at a downward angle. I'm going to hit right here, going down at an angle. Okay, the angle of my strike is right here. Okay, I want to compress all of his guts with that punch. So I'm stepping through, bam. Okay, you can change all of these with an open hand. Okay, open hand hurts. It's not going to do as much damage necessarily, but it'll get their attention. If you don't like hitting things with your fist, you need to practice slapping things, because again, most people, if you haven't hit somebody, you're not going to hit them hard enough the first time. Other strikes, you know, with the fingers, you come through, you can hit the eyes, hitting the throat, you know. You could do that for your lead hand, for your jab. If you're sitting here and then, you know, come through and hit. I don't have my car keys on me, but you know, usually I have keys. I have my work keys, I have my car keys. You know, if you're standing there, whatever, and somebody, you know, is again getting frisky, you know, you might throw something over their head. It gets their attention just to look, just for a second, to flinch, and then bam, bam. You know, get them distracted for just a second to close that gap. Do your work, either to take them out, or if it's a situation dictates, to get out. Okay, don't be a dumbass. If you need to run, run. All right. Now, another strikes are, you know, hammer fists, which you'll see with the sticks. We do them a lot. I prefer a hammer fist. Plus, you can hit things with a hammer fist all day long. It doesn't hurt. If punches are coming in and you're just whiling on them, bam, you know, bam. You're just hitting the arm until the arm starts to get a little bit weak, you know, and they start slowing down their punches. They don't want to put them out there so quickly, right? Another one is elbow strikes. Okay, elbow strikes are really important, but you got to close the gap for them. Okay, you got your vertical strikes, well, you got your horizontal strikes, right? You got your downward strikes. You can come up and then down. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the elbows, and you can hit an elbow pretty good at very short range. That's what's nice about them. And you know, if you get in with a clinch with someone, even if you got your hands on them, it's easy to just make a very short movement from where you've got maybe close to a clinch and just bam, you know, it's that simple. And there's a lot of power in that. If you've been hit with an elbow, there's a lot of power generated in that short little movement. Okay, so those are some things you can look at. Again, shoulder strikes. You can bring their head into the shoulder. The headbutts, obviously. There's a lot of different ways you can hold your fist if you're into that sort of thing. Again, your fingers for soft targets. Fingers are great. Pinching, let me tell you, get in there and get a handful. You know, especially the inside of the thigh. Get a handful, and I mean just twist it up like a piece of laundry. You know, just you know, open hand, backhand to the back or the inside of the leg, anywhere sensitive, it gets their attention. If you get into a situation that you're having to think about now, you've already screwed up so many things up to this point as far as awareness and using your noodle that, you know, now you're just going to have to fight it out. When we start doing the self-defense tapes, you'll see that we use everything. I can't go into all of it just describing it. I need to have a person working with me where I can show you why we strike the way we strike, when we strike, because their body position and angling, their reactions dictate that. Okay, so I hope that helps, guys. I know it's short, but once I get a partner, and I'll probably put another video out in the next couple of days doing some of the strikes on Bob so I can show you the alignment better. And it's hard to tell in the air. It's hard for me to tell if I'm doing it in the air. But get out there and hit stuff, okay? I can't stress that enough. If you're going to do martial arts, you need to hit things, okay? And you need to learn to hit things and learn to feel whether or not you're hitting things right and whether or not you're actually hitting things hard enough. Don't start with hard stuff, okay? But use your brain, work it out, and get stronger.